Oh, testing, testing. Yep, it works now.
Whatever somebody did. What's that? Somebody hit mute. Somebody hit mute.
Okay.
Maybe I might questions.
The first item of business is the reading of the minutes from the last meeting. Is there any additions or changes to the minutes?
No objections, I'll make a motion to approve.
Dave makes a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Dave, seconded by Nicole. Any other discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item is the presentation of the bills. Nicole, do you want to hold off on that one bill, or do you want to, if we do pay, then we could go back to the homeowner and bill them? Okay.
That would work.
There's no additions or changes to the bills. Do I have a motion to approve the bills?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved by Nicole, seconded by Jason. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. We'll start with Jason tonight for commissioners' reports.
I'll leave the sheriff stuff up to the sheriff, and I have nothing on the other two.
Okay. Paul?
Okay, on HEDC, they met. A couple things coming up is they have that Trail County Community Showcase, which is happening December 15th. It's a Thursday from 2 to 4 p.m. at the Goose River Brewery. That's where the communities in the county kind of give their what they have for property, what they have for incentives, so on and so forth. It's a pretty big deal. I don't know if anybody has reached out to you, Casey, for any information on that yet or not, if they need anything from us as far as numbers or anything goes, but it's a pretty big deal the Trail County puts on. That's coming up. And then as far as HEDC goes, also they did make a donation towards electronic sign. If we decide to move forward with that, they would make a donation. And then they're still looking at different projects to increase, get some movement going out west. So I think a lot of those articles were in the banner, so if you have questions on those, check with the banner. And then just a reminder that HB is having their Wonderland this coming weekend, Friday and Saturday. They're always in need of more lighted floats, so if you want to put a float, anybody and everybody is welcome to put a float in there, not just businesses. So on the electric side, of course, we will be at some point here getting going with load controls again this winter when we have an electrician available to do that. Donations, decorations. I'm sure a lot of you noticed the decorations aren't all lit up. From talking to the guys at the shop today, they're having some problems with the sockets, getting good connections. So they're going to be hopefully working on that. So, and that might be something we'll have to look at, maybe replacing them down the road and updating them. So, but that's why a lot of them aren't working. I was a little concerned if we had issues with a lot of our new lights, but it sounds like it's more of an electrical issue, they thought. So what they were going to be looking at this week. So, and that's all I have.
Dave?
Nothing on the streets, nothing on the fire department. Casey and myself and Jim will be meeting with Countryside Sanitation on next Monday at 2 o'clock at the city shop to just get a preliminary on as far as if they want to bid on the contract next November. And that's all I have.
Have we gotten any closer on what, if we need to change the rates in between?
Pardon?
What we need to do to change the rates in between so that we're not falling behind?
Casey has been working on it, and she's got a good plan going. If you want to say any more about that, Casey, or
We'll give a more detailed report at the next meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Nicole?
I have nothing tonight.
On the planning and zoning side, we are gonna meet with a engineering firm slash inspection firm out of Grand Forks to see if they would be able to do the planning and zoning options for us, for the building inspections. They approached us, and so they want to meet with planning and zoning, and we'll kind of go from there. They have been working on the ordinances, getting those closer. They've made some changes. They just want to make sure that as they're doing it right, so we're not going over it again. So they're taking their time on it. The pool grant was signed, so if we're going to move forward with that, we need to start making a decision if we're going to move and look for bids for next year so that we can get that project done and completed with those grant funds that we were awarded. And JR will have an update on the beautification side on the Oster property. The retirement party for John went really well, I think. I think he seemed appreciative of it, and thanks to those that chipped in for the gifts we got him. We got him a nice watch for his retirement. His family was able to come up, and there was quite a few people that came to the event. So
Thanks to the gals in the office for
yeah.
getting things set up there.
Thank you for doing that, all of three of you.
Yes.
And to the cafe and Sunday Brew for the food that was brought in. There's one other thing. Paul didn't touch on it, but I know they put this in the packet, and so the key number on this sheet is that we are moving up to approximately 5.7 cents per kilowatt on average for electricity. We are currently selling off-peak at 5.5 cents per kilowatt, and this rate goes into effect January 1. So that rate sheet that I had handed out before, we need to make a final decision on that. Otherwise, we'll be selling electricity at a loss. And so we probably need to make some changes before even the rate study is completed, and some of the other items that we wanted to hold off on. So unless you want to make a decision on it tonight, it is something that we will have to make a decision on next commission meeting to go in effect for the next billing cycle, because it starts on the 10th. Yeah. Or is it the 20th? So to make sure we get that in for the next billing cycle, otherwise we'll be off a month in short. Any thoughts, comments on that? Rick?
Have you got any idea what that means to the average household? I mean, I know you're all going up, is it 2/10 of a percent?
Well, no, that's what we'd be buying the power at, is 5.7.
Oh, okay.
So
What are you talking about selling it?
I don't know. It's not,
We just got this, I just got this, so I can't tell you. I haven't looked into it all, so we'll know by next meeting, so.
I have no idea when.
No, just got it now, so, yeah.
What did it cost you before?
on average, they were projected to be at 5.5 cents this year, which we knew that was coming. I think on average before we were right around that 5.2, 5.3. It's mostly on the off-peak electricity is where we're going to take the hit. So any dual electric meters are off-peak heat.
But we're also looking at places that claim they're dual, and they're not really dual. So that's another thing that we're working on to get those corrected also. So, because to be true dual heat, you have to have dual heat, so that's another topic that we're gonna be looking into, so.
You know, excuse me, Paul, you know, I know that you're waiting for electricians, but, like mine hasn't been changed yet. He was there one time.
That's load control, so that'd be different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, you know when that's gonna be.
Well, we're hoping to get them as soon as we can, so, but, if Jim was here, he could tell you for sure, because he's talking to the electricians, so.
Is this time of use chart different than this power supply rate to this 5.7 cents?
So how it works is there's 3 different charges, off-peak, mid-peak, and that's our actual rate that we would pay. Then if you look on the next page, there's a demand charge for June, July, August at $19 an hour. And then January, February, December, there's a $15, and all other month is $9.75. So that's
And
where
that's the one.
that's the one that kicks it up on average if you looked at it at 5.7. And this is an average for all Missouri River customers, not just ours. When I looked, this was a couple years or a year ago. I mean, that was pretty close to what our rates were going to be, or what we were paying.
Okay.
So, and that's where that off-peak can help bring down our demand charge, which would help bring down. Because, if we need 26 kilowatts per day, we have to pay a demand charge of 26 kilowatts per day.
Okay.
So it's more than just this rate, and I also know, is it this year, Paul, do you remember that WAPA is going up with their power amounts as well?
I don't know right off the top of my head, no.
I just know that they're going up soon too, so. And we get part of our power from WAPA. The last item is, we have a individual that'd like to possibly annex in some land into town, which we were interested in doing it before. It's some of the property that is next to Charlie Stock's residence. And so as long as you guys are okay with that, I'll work with those individuals to get that process started. That way, because we're going to have to work on a lot of different things for lift station, possibly streets, all that kind of stuff for that part of it. So, thoughts, comments? And it's also in our power and water district.
So if they annex it, who pays for all of those, power and water and sewer and all that on that property?
We'd have to work with them and see how we would do it. The one over there, we split the cost.
Right.
Because it benefited more, and then they were paying it off. And we'd have to work with the resident or potential resident what they would want to do. But it would bring in something like 4 homes. They're potentially looking at duplexes, 2 duplexes. So unless somebody has anything against that, I can work with them in planning and zoning, so. Okay. JR, do you have anything tonight?
Would you like the Oster update now?
Sure.
Okay, because I see it's not on the agenda.
Yeah,
so-
I didn't.
Because we've taken care of it, maybe.
Yes.
Looking into it, I've now sent a revised letter, which was approved by Charlie Stock on behalf of the county, as well as to Steve Hunt at the sheriff's office, just regarding the property of that parcel, which is in the city right-of-way / city-owned property, basically using the abandonment procedure that's available under our ordinances, as well as state law, saying if you store anything in those areas and you don't remove it, it can be taken and stored and sold at auction. So just gave her as a final notice to note that if she doesn't move it, we will for her and store it and sell it if need be. So at least those items that are with outside those survey marks as we had them, because that's all city-owned right away, that will be taken care of. And that letter was sent to the sheriff's office today for personal service, because she doesn't usually respond to certified mail. So that's the update for that one. I'd also like to say a thank you, unrelated to that, of just thank you to the city for everything you guys did for John's retirement party. I thought it went very well. I was quite impressed with everything that was put on, and a big thank you to all the city workers as well that helped put that together.
So regarding that property, I
Mhm.
drove by there today, and is that her vehicle sitting on the street there's a white Chevy pickup the cab is so full of, I don't even think you could get into the driver's door.
I think that one's hers. It's not hers? No? Nope, not hers?
I'm hearing from other parties that may not be hers.
Okay.
I'm not familiar with the vehicle. I know the trailers have been there for some time.
The
But
vehicles have been there probably a couple months. If you wish, we can ask to have them.
It isn't hers?
There's about 4 vehicles.
Okay. Because there's a white
They're just
pickup
sitting there?
sitting there that's been there, and the cab is just, I'll be darned.
But we can always ask the sheriff's department to ticket them. That doesn't mean, they have to move it X amount of feet and then it could
Mhm.
technically be changed. But it's up to you guys if you would like us to ask Steve to do that.
I think it should be looked into. It doesn't have a front plate. I didn't notice if there was a rear plate on it, but kind of smashed up in the front bumper.
So would you guys like them to be marked? They have been there for quite a while. We haven't tagged a lot of vehicles unless it was snow related or in the way of something.
Well, personally, I don't see what good they're doing when the cab is full of stuff. It just looks like it's being used for a storage, and when it does snow, then Jim and the boys are gonna have to fight around it, so.
So are we okay with having,
I think in the past, haven't we just kind of let the snow, once the snow starts flying, take care of it and start issuing the tickets?
yep, that's what we've done in the past. So,
Unless you guys want to do something different, but it's really tough to know if they're moving with people rotating around and working different days when there's not an obvious sign. It's just my thought.
right.
How long do we have to store those items? You said we'd have to store them and then sell them? How long do you have to?
There's a statute which our ordinance follows. I'll have to check the notes again. You can remove the property, it has to be stored for 60 days, then it can be sold at auction. Very similar to how Fargo does impounded property there, if you know that they actually hold a few sales a year. But that's the requirement. If she wants, she could come back and pay off the storage and removal fees to get it back before that 60 days is up.
And we can charge all storage, so if we,
Yep, all the costs of doing it.
right, so if we rent a container, if we use whatever, that would all add up into those fees. Okay. Casey, unless Ari had something else.
That's all.
Okay.
On my list, just some updates for you guys on some of the hot topics, you had addressed with me earlier this year. We are getting close to finishing the audit. As of Friday, we submitted all the documents that were requested at that time. So we're hopeful that it'll be done fairly soon for the 3-year audit. The procurement policy, we're looking at that and basing a purchase order policy off of your guys' current procurement policy. Along with that, in your online packets today, or your emailed packets today, I included an internal control sheet, or an internal control memo. It's not anything that I'm looking to get approval on right at this meeting, because it was very short notice. But it's something that the auditors requested for the 3-year audit. So if you guys could review it, between now and next meeting, that would really be appreciated, and let me know of any suggestions or amendments that you think would be great.
Do you want us to email you the questions?
That'd be great. Yeah. Yep. Thank you.
Mhm.
Inventory, I've got a huge list started for a couple of the areas. Community center, I've got just about everything done, and then everything on the insurance schedules. I'm hoping to have that done by the end of the month so we can start the new year out fresh. We are on the schedule for the electrical rate survey, or electric rate study, excuse me. Side projects and promotions that the office has been doing. John's party, thank you to all involved, Nicole, Cathay, 3R Floral, and everybody for showing up. It was a good time. We decorated the Christmas tree with Brian and Bill. That went really well. We will be working on the Christmas float for the HBA parade, and then working on s'more bags after work on Thursday, I believe. We'll see what they say during the HBA meeting. Other than that, we are looking to get the commission's blessing for working towards getting stand-up desks. Workforce Safety has a grant available for local governments to get ergonomic tools for their offices. And that's been a stressed area from both employees in the office, is to work towards getting stand-up desks for the office. The grant is up to $10,000 because of the premium that we pay. So we're hopeful that that would cover 3 stand-up desks. So I'm looking for your guys' blessing to move forward with that.
Well, ergonomics is very, 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 very important, especially when sitting at desks all day. So I am definitely for that. We changed them all at the college for those who need it, so.
Is it a matching grant?
Yeah, I don't have a problem.
Say that again?
It's not a,
Tough sitting at a desk all day.
Yeah, it's
it's,
tough.
it's not a matching grant, it's automatic. Yep.
Automatic grant.
Do I have a motion then to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
It's moved by Nicole, seconded by Dave to approve the purchase up to 3 stand-up desks using the
Workforce Safety.
Workforce Safety grant. Is there any other discussion? Paul?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Nicole?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
And a yes for me. Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. That is everything for the city office. One further request, the radio station would like to, or requested that the city sponsor the community choir. The cost, if I remember correct, I have written down $350 to sponsor the community choir on December 22nd. So, yep, there was an email sent out, but I didn't see a lot of responses back, so I thought I'd ask you guys tonight what your opinion was on what you would like to do there. And in the advertising line item, it didn't appear that too much was spent out of advertising this year. So that was one area that I thought would be available if you guys chose to do this.
We've done it in the past. I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved by Dave, seconded by Jason to approve the city sponsoring the community choir. And if I remember right, when we do those, if it's part of the municipal utilities, then Missouri River will kick back some of that too, so. Is there any other discussion? Dave?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Nicole?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
And a yes for me. Motion carries.
That's it for me. Thank you.
Steve, do you have anything tonight?
Just a quick update for you on personnel in the sheriff's office. Let you know that we have hired 2 dispatchers. About a week and, looked at about 3 weeks in now. So in the training process, things are looking better there. We do have one more interview tomorrow for the dispatcher, which hopefully will bring us up to full staff on the dispatch side. On the deputy side, I've got one deputy hired. He actually graduates from the academy on the 14th, and we'll start working the Monday after that. So, still looking for 2 more deputies, but things are slowly improving. And we're going to get back to full staff.
It's great to hear.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at personnel wise. That being said, I'll stay for any questions.
Thanks for all you're doing.
Yes,
what you're
thank
doing
you.
in town.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Old business, we have the employee handbook. If everybody had a chance to look in that. Unless there's changes, do we have a motion to approve?
Everybody in the shop has looked at it now, supposedly, or?
Yep, this should be the final that was with all the changes from the last, or 2 meetings ago.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do I
I'll
have
make the motion.
Jason makes a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Paul. Is there any other discussion? Nicole?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Any yes for me. Motion carries.
Well, we need to be getting, well, Casey, who'll get this, because they have to sign that they read it.
Yep. So
Where do
you want to
keep
make
that-
sure that.
Where do you keep that information? Do you have a file for that someplace? Or start one?
Yep, what we do is we hand the employee handbook to every employee. There's a back page with a signature sheet. They sign it and we put it in everybody's employee folders.
Okay.
The next item, under new business, is the tax exempt clarification. If I remember right, you didn't find it in the minutes.
75,000.
Well, we actually moved it up.
There we go. So I had looked in 2023's minutes. I didn't see anything. Sarah was kind enough to look and find a set of 22 minutes, March of 22. The discussion, there was no motion, but the discussion was titled Building Incentives for Riverwalk Development and Any New Building in Hillsboro. The notes on here says up to 150 max to be exempt, must be completed to apply. It is time sensitive, tabled for planning and zoning meeting. She didn't see any further minutes.
Okay. So it wasn't moved then, so it is, we are at 75, but if you would, I think it would be in our best opinion, my best opinion, it would be for us to give up to the 150. So that we can get more to build in Hillsboro. And it's an exemption for 3 years is what we have done. I think you can go to 5, but we've done 3 years, and it's just the first 150,000 of a new build. So if the home costs 300,000 to build, only 150,000 would be tax exempt. The rest would be
For 3 years, Greg.
for 3 years.
I agree. I think it's a good incentive.
So I was under the impression that we had approved it, but
And there's no recording of that meeting for some reason. Because I went back to try and listen to that meeting, and for some reason, we don't have a recording of it.
okay.
So,
I don't, yeah, that's why I don't ever, I always thought it was just 75 is what I know we had talked about it, but
Right, and I had thought we had passed it, but apparently we just talked about it, so. Do I have a motion to?
One clarification, according to the state statute, we can only do 2 taxable years for exemption on this.
What's 2? Okay,
Yeah, so my recommendation is we use the 2.
yes.
and for clarification, they have to apply for that within, how much time do they have to do that when they're?
It's
Is it 2
something
years?
before it's first occupied, but yes, it's up to the owner to apply. I would almost wonder if the county has the details on this, because they've been processing them still,
Mhm.
probably at our 75,000, but
Right.
Right.
there is an application to fill out, correct?
Yeah, but, yeah, it's that's where I think the time sensitive came in, because I think you only have like a year or something after.
Mhm.
I'm not sure, but I know that there's a time limit on it.
There's a
so-
time
Timeline
limit.
to apply.
Somebody like to make a motion then to approve the tax exemption for 150,000 for up to 2
I'll
years?
make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved by Dave, seconded by Paul, for 150 tax exemption on new builds for 2 years. Is there any other discussion? Nicole?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
And a yes for me. Motion carries. The next item is for our retirement account to get, oh no, sorry, that's different. I'll have Casey talk about the Starion Bank cash management request that they had put in.
Thanks, Levi. What this is about is 2 representatives from Starion Bank visited me last week, Wednesday. They are looking to get business in local governments and be bankers for municipalities and other local governments, meaning they are seeing if the commission would be interested in changing business from Goose River Bank to Starion Bank for all accounts. I told them that I'd put it on the agenda for you guys to discuss. The interest rates are included with the packet. Upon our informal discussion, they said they could probably get 3.5% interest rate for us on our accounts. I believe our current interest rate with Goose River is 1.5. But there's nothing saying that you can't ask Goose River for a higher interest rate. So that is that's the short version of it. If you guys would like me to go further or research further, just let me know. And if you want to stay right where you're at, that's just fine too. I just said I'd put it on the agenda.
I think it wouldn't hurt to ask Goose River if they would be interested in changing interest rates. Would be a starting point for me.
That would be my thought. I'm not comfortable with moving their banking out of Hillsboro. I think the banks will work with us, hopefully.
I agree. Start with asking.
Okay, and then just give us an update at the next.
If you get 4, that's no problem, we'll take it.
Or 10, I mean,
Just tell them that Dustin said he would give us 5, and then.
Next item is the sign that is out here has not been working for a while. It doesn't, but I did look to see what it would cost to replace it. So this is not a whole new fixture or anything. It's just retrofitting in that same space, and it's about 25,000. For the one that I would suggest that we go with, it'll give a higher resolution. It'll also give you more ability to put things on there. So if Corey at the banner makes nice advertisements, they can just be put on. We don't have to try to make things fit. It'll automatically go into the system. This one is automatically updated, so there's no connection, have to be close to the hardware store or anything. And with that, Paul did ask HEDC, and they have donated 10,000 to the cause, and Missouri River will donate up to 5,000 for the cause. So we are at 15,000 total. So we are only looking for 10,000 left to get. If you guys are okay with moving forward with that project.
You can use sales tax money to cover part of it too, can't you, because it's,
We could, yes. But I would hope, we haven't asked, Paul and I haven't asked very much or moved very far on it, but we would ask with your guys' blessing if there's other businesses, or not necessarily businesses, other community organizations that might be interested in helping out with it, and that way they'd be able to use it.
I have no problem with it. That sign has been there a long time, and they've been fixing on it, and it's, I think go for it.
I don't know much about the sign. Like, I don't know what's wrong with it, how long it's been there.
It's been there since 2007.
So it's been there quite a while.
They replaced parts for it. I think, what was it, a couple years ago, Tom
Yeah.
and Scott had to
Yeah.
Yeah,
dig
the-
around for parts, and they had a heck of a time finding the parts then for it.
There's, like, it
They
used to
even
do
got a new-
temperature, it doesn't work
Yeah, yeah.
anymore. And
They got a new, they already got one new computer for it to try and get up to date, and so,
It doesn't do it.
And this would be all cloud-based, so.
So we're thinking sales tax for that 10?
I mean, if you want to stick the 10 in, that'd be great, and then we can order it and be done. Or if you'd like us to go around and ask, or I heard something about a lodging tax meeting, maybe possibly there's funds for.
Yeah.
I would say let's check and see if anybody else is interested.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before we get too far, though, I just want to pose this question so that I know, and Paul knows, that we're not going to stick work into this and not get anything. Is if we reach out and we can't get any for the rest, are you guys willing to pay the 10 out of sales tax to cover it? And it wouldn't be this year, it'd be next year.
I have no problem with that. That's what it, kind of what it's there for. To
Okay. Okay.
Okay with that.
I don't need anything formal, it's just informal so that we have an idea. Any other questions on that?
I can say that it was pretty popular back, and it was easy to raise the money back then for the previous one. And like I've made a comment at HEDC, I'm sure the business would do it if we asked, because we just have that kind of businesses in town. But also, you know, they get asked a lot, you know, so if we could maybe we could do something this time around, because I don't, last time we did, on the last sign we did $1,000 is all. So, You know, it was a lot of different churches and organizations stepped up last time and donated money. I just think it would be, you know, if they want to do it again, that's fine, but, you know, they get asked a lot. They contribute a lot to this community, whether it's with your live event or advertising, or they're asked all the time, so, you know, maybe we can not bug them too much, but there's people out there that, you know, they're still, you know, gaming, you know, that we can ask and stuff, so maybe we can get part of it, but I know our businesses would step up if we needed them to, so, but.
Well, should we just put out the word and say, if you want to help with it, you're more than welcome, but if we, you know, if we don't get nothing, then go with the sales tax route?
If
That's fine by me, yeah.
If that's the motion that you'd want to do, then we know that it'll move forward and get ordered and put in and all of that.
I'll make the motion that we just put it out that if you want to help with this, that's fine, but we can use our sales tax money to cover the balance of the project.
Is there a second?
And I have talked to the office too, by the way, that they're okay with, the gals said they would do the updating too, so. And I'm sure there's many people that can do it. You just have to have a password, so.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded. Rick, did you have something?
Well, in just listening to you and the fact that I was in business here for many years, anytime somebody asked me for a donation, I never can remember turning anybody down. And isn't this something that the business is benefit from as well? You can put stuff on here if it's something you vote.
In the past, what I was told is if it's an event that's a community event, it could go on, but if it was anything
Small
specific
business.
to the business, then it wouldn't. But I think Paul and I both were going to look at like sales tax, or not sales tax, some gaming fund dollars possibly, and there's a few community grants that are out there that we could look at for it, but no guarantees. We could go and ask the businesses, but like Paul and I are both on the same page that I don't want to, I know businesses want to donate, but if it's something, if it's going to go to me or if it's going to go to the Booster Club or the 4-H Club, I'd rather see those donations go there instead of coming to pay for a sign for it.
Right.
But I was meaning like if you got businesses and they're doing a community event, it's going on there.
Yep.
Benefiting everybody. And to me, I know if I was still a business, I'd donate to that. And it's going to do.
Well, Rick, if you want, you can donate now and we'll put your name on it. Because we have to put HEDC, or,
Hey, I'll match whatever you give.
thanks, Rick.
I just want to return to put you on the spot.
Jeff?
And I know this is like a red balloon, but I had a guy ask me, how come the sign $8 you come into town, having places big, putting events on there, as well as if a business wants to rent time off of it, John Deere sale Friday, 20% off or whatever, or you just want to keep it down here in the park so it looks nice in the main part of town. To me, it don't matter, but this guy is in business in town, and he was actually saying, hey, we need advertising, but it don't do any good on by the railroad tracks when they come in and go to John Deere or go to Senex or wind up in RUK.
So
But we
the
can't
problem is Newman Signs and the DOT
own it.
is our hindrance. The signs that are there have to be community, or it has to be, the business has to be right there. There's a lot of regulations that I don't even know. I just know Paul has looked at it, I've looked into it, and it's a headache to try to get it.
I looked into it too.
I called it 173 towns, and I think I come up with maybe 10 of them that had, and maybe they were independent, but they had the sign as you first come into town, you could read off, blah, 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 this is happening, that's happening. It ain't all just softball tournament at 8 o'clock. Just a suggestion, but if Newman is got it tied up, you got it tied up, there's no doubt about it.
Yep. I think they have the rate, because somebody asked the other day if we would, that came to planning and zoning about signing off on a sign that we needed to sign off on. So there's a lot of regulations, and so,
Not that we'd be against doing anything like that, but if we're talking $25,000 for this sign, can you imagine what that's gonna cost you?
Money comes in there, but we just bought 10 grand
Yeah.
or 5 minutes for something else.
Right, yeah. Well, I'm not saying we can't, but I'm just want you to be aware. Are we talking, would we potentially be talking, I have never looked, would it be $50,000? Would it be 100? I don't know, so,
I have no idea.
not that,
I-
not that I, not that,
Actually go out and talk to people and see how much interest there is.
Right.
I'm asking for donations.
Mhm.
Maybe you should see if there's some interest.
yeah.
Well, I think if we could, we would, because I think many businesses have asked about it. Even I reached out, and they're not willing to give up any land for signs out there. That's the tough part.
But it's only, like I say, it's like a red balloon, but,
Well, I think it's a good idea,
I think it's great.
but it's like everything, Chuck, who's gonna do it?
and we've talked,
You know, so-
I mean, we've looked into it to try to figure it out, if we could rotate it, if we could do a non-digital sign, and it's not an easy thing. Where we were gonna put it, it is not an easy thing to do, and if it's any other advertising, I think the restriction is your business has to be there in order for you to advertise. So John Deere could advertise, Casey's could advertise, Cenex could advertise, but
And if there's,
we couldn't advertise Miller's right there.
and
Then
if there's somebody out there that knows those particulars,
no, not even that.
then we would know, so.
So that's kind of the issue. I think HEDC even had their sign taken down because it wasn't where it was supposed to be. So, any other discussion on the motion that would allow us to use $10,000 sales tax to pay for the sign if we don't get it covered with other funds? Paul?
Yes,
Jason?
I'm sorry, I was gonna say,
Oh.
I think we should put a little more time into it and explore, and maybe if businesses are interested, maybe we do get a bigger sign and the city still pitches in that 10,000.
I can look, yeah. It's just, it might cost more for I can look and see. Jason?
No,
Nicole?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
And a yes for me. Motion carries. Last item on the new business is our Christmas thank yous for our employees. Normally, we have given $25 in Hillsboro bucks. I've had a request from some staff for some apparel this year. If you're okay with that, I can get that ordered and done. Otherwise, we can go back with the Hillsboro bucks. We'd be looking at about 80 per employee, if I remember right. And that would be a nice jacket for them.
do they have any type of shirts for office type wear?
We could look at polos or shirts too. That's another option.
I guess whatever, I'd say whatever they're interested in.
The one that I had mentioned, they like the jacket, so
Okay.
it's something similar to this type of jacket, a lightweight that they could wear when it's chilly in the office. Maybe we'll save on electrical then.
Are the jackets and stuff being purchased in town here and embroidered in town, or do we do it out of town?
It'd be out of town. There isn't one. There isn't an embroidery shop in town. We do have a customization in town, but it's not embroidery type. It's single cut type letters. This would have the logo, a city logo on it.
Are we looking for a motion?
Yep.
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
I can second it.
Moved by Jason, seconded by Paul, to get jackets for the employees. And there is funds left over in the president's line item that we looked at that will cover it, so. Is there any other discussion on it? Paul?
Yes,
Nicole?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
And a yes for me. Motion carries. And the last item is the Hillsboro Dollars for Scholars raffle. Just need a motion to approve that. Looks like it is.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a
Not
second? Is not online.
Okay.
I'll second.
Moved by Dave, seconded by Jason. Any other discussion? Dave?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Paul?
yes.
Nicole?
Yes.
And a yes for me. Motion carries. Any commissioners?
I just want to say, JR, I think good job on the Ulster letter and putting that all together. Thank you.
The job.
Remember, you got 46 years left.
Yeah, that's right. Clock's counting here.
Hey, that's a new clock we could get.
I'll see you at every meeting. Just for meeting.
You make it, JR. You
Count down for 47 years. We better make sure it lasts. We better get a Timex.
So,
Anybody else have anything for the good of the order?
I just want to say again, thanks a lot, for what you guys are doing in the office with John's deal, with the tree and everything. It's nice to see that our city is getting in the Christmas spirit and showing our community off. I appreciate that you take the time to do that, especially in your free time.
And I'd like to say how nice and clean your office looks, and you guys have organized things over there. When I went in there, it's just, it's a whole different office that I've seen in a long time, so I thank you.
You do need to get an extension cord back in there. Well, your cleaning lady was looking for the extension cord.
We took it for the Christmas tree, sorry.
That's what we said. That's what we told her, is probably so.
Anybody else? If you want to come up to the mic.
Excuse me, I gotta go too. This thing on?
Nope. No, you just push the button.
Okay. I appreciate, Jason, you bringing up a point that don't get exercised nearly enough here at this meeting. Rather than bringing up something and voting on it right away, have some discussion on it, get some input from it. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
No vote to me was a fact that, hey, somebody's doing the due diligence, and I appreciate it, not that the rest of you aren't. But having said that, I also understand after a bad comment I made a couple months ago about the garbage and who was getting the brakes on it and who wasn't. If I understood right at that meeting, commercial accounts were getting charged the same as residential accounts. Is that correct?
No.
From what we see right now, Chuck, they are getting charged the same amount per yard. So a residential bin is $18.75. A yard in a dumpster is being charged at $18.75 as well. So if you have a 6-yard dumpster, it's $18.75 times 6.
Okay. And I know you're working on it. I'm not on the commission. I only will give you a couple suggestions. I did talk to a couple towns within 100 miles of here. The one of it, if you can believe it, they get picked up garbage twice a week, commercial. Residential is only once a week. But the commercial one is $275 a month. So if we were losing money on garbage guys, let's reconsider how many yards per se, and I'll pick on him, Paul puts in there, and I know he doesn't hardly feel it, because I put a lot of stuff in there. No, in all seriousness, so, everybody, when I was talking to the boys this morning, they said, boy, that'll shock everybody, and I said, hey, if other towns gotta do it to make it pay, we're gonna raise our electrical rates, everybody's gotta pay that. Do some checking. We're probably a little underpriced, and I know some businesses aren't gonna like this, but we have, how many commercial accounts? 20? More, okay. Well, I'm gracious, 20, take 20 times another $100, that's $2,000 a month right there that's out the door. That's only $100, so give it some real thought, and don't be afraid to stick your neck out, because they can only chew so long and then they give up. I just wanted to throw that in for information. I will also give you the name of the town and the chief financial officer if you really want to know, but that's immaterial. One thing, JR, every town is probably different, and I don't know how the law can be different, but we're talking about abandoned vehicles, or what we think is our abandoned vehicles, you know, on the street, ones that got garbage in them and they're not moving.
We're talking about personal property, not vehicles. Vehicles are handled differently.
Okay, vehicles are differently. Okay, so I had an experience 2 years ago. I had a Explorer station wagon that I sold it on a Thursday afternoon, left the license plates on it, mainly because the wife wasn't feeling good, and I got the guy's cash and signed off on the contract or the title. The following Tuesday, I got a call from Ed's Towing in Moorhead. If you want to get your Explorer back, $779 for towing, storage, and whatever. And I said, what do you mean, my Explorer? Well, we were called to Portland, North Dakota to pick it up beside the bar. It was left there for 2 nights, and they don't leave anything sit in front of their business place for 2 nights. Anyway, you know, maybe we should start looking at our things around here. I realized that was a business place. Unfortunately, the poor guy that called, I think, the sheriff's office and said, whose car is this license plate number? It come right to me. But after I called back to Ed and told him what was going on, I never heard any more about it other than a guy in Galesburg went down and bought it for $100 6 months later. But something to think about. There must be ways that cities are acting responsibly to clean up the act. It's tough, but it does happen.
I'd have to check what our ordinance says, but we do have the power to tow as well.
Oh, you do?
Yes, if we want to go that far, that's up to the city and the sheriff's office to start doing that.
Yeah. Well, this actually.
I know we have it to be ticketed so far as the courtesy to give them the notice, but
Sure. No,
if
and
we
that's
want to
great.
do it for after 48 hours, well, we surely can do so.
No, I'm just giving you.
And we'll give them your phone number.
Hey, that's okay. Not everybody calls me and tells me Merry Christmas. But what I am getting at, it happened to me, and they thought they were getting Chuck Punton's car, and he was going to lose it.
Yep.
And they did, went away. But having said all that, I guess I again, and I have nothing other than John Juleson, the city did put on a great party for him. I enjoyed being here, seeing him and his family, as well as some former commissioners. Mr. Rutgold is really crippled up, came up from Fargo. Thank you to whoever was involved with it. It showed a real gracious thing for John. And how many years was he here?
47.
47. Thank you. One other, no, I'll keep that. Never mind. Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck. Rick, do you have anything? You're the only other one in the audience.
I just wanted to know how much, excuse me. I just wanted to know how much you plan on contributing, Levi.
I have to check with my financial advisor when I get home.
There goes your Christmas bonus,
Yeah,
Steve.
there goes your jacket. First of all. A little, huh? Yeah, I want to thank all of you too. It was, is this mine that's doing it? It's mine off? But I too want to thank all of you for the nice party you gave John. He's been my attorney for 40 years, and I have a lot of admiration for him, and I know he's done a wonderful job for the city. Secondly, I was in Fargo, and talking to somebody. She said she was from Harwood, and she said, I want to tell you, you're so lucky to have this young lady that came there, and she said she does a wonderful job, so that's good to know. And welcome to Hillsboro.
Thank you.
Yeah. On another note, the west side of the city, and I brought it up, Paul knows it as well, and at our EDC board, we had Paul was there, we were talking about promoting what we could do to get that going over there. But first of all, I've asked before, we don't have, the irrigation system didn't work. I asked Paul why the trees weren't there by Anchor. He said we planted them, they died. Well, that was 2 years ago. Now, again, they could have been put up. So when we're looking at different ways, whether it's EDC or city or whatever, first thing, you got to make it look a heck of a lot better than it did this summer. And there's other things I could say about it, but I don't want to have any problems with anybody here. But I think we need to get on them. Let's get it cleaned up this summer. And if we're gonna help promote it and sell lots and stuff, it's got to look a lot better, because I don't think anybody would build over there and the way it looks. But with that, I want to thank all of you for the job you do. I know it's a thankless, hard job, but I appreciate all of you. So thanks, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year.
Thanks, Rick. Same to you.
Levi, if I could ever get all those lots out there, whose responsibility is it?
The city has a responsibility on certain lots, which would be the park lots, which would be like next to the boulevards. All the rest of it is up to the developers, in which this summer the guys were going to take care of it, and I've seen them and I said, no, we have the developers, that's a developer's cost. So we on the where the big lots are at, or the ones that's, but we have a few sections in there that were turned over to the city, but they're all the park style type lots.
Is the landowner, the developer, allowing all that to be, put any incentive out there to sell lots? I realize they got them listed on the phone, you can hear them up.
That's what HEDC and we are working with them right now to try and come up with a plan. You know, and I know that there was an article written about maybe possibly building a spec home out there. They have offered incentives to help. They would give us a lot, for example, until it was sold and things like that. So, but a lot of that stuff is still in the talking stage right now. And I don't think anything, unless Rick knows of something being on HEDC, I don't know of anything that's firm right now. Obviously, this $150,000 that we did on the tax exemption tonight is one of those types of incentives. What are some other incentives that we could do to help with them properties? And obviously, we're asking, you know, the developer to throw things in too. So, yep. So, right. Yep. Yep. So, but we're also looking, right. 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 Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. That conversation, we've been having that, right, Rick? It's been had, but I don't think anything has, you know, come out concrete yet, because, but if they're hoping to hit the ground running this spring is what we want to do. So with whatever incentives we might have. So. Right. Multifamily, yep, yep. So, yeah, yeah. So we're looking at those things, and we're kind of looking at it, a little bit from everybody is better than a bunch from one type of thing, so if everybody can kind of give a little bit, if it's enough to sway somebody to build a house out there, well, once you get it going, maybe it might, keep going, but yeah, it's all, and we're looking, if somebody's got a suggestion, hey, there's a lot of communities out there that actually give so many months for utilities. So there's things you can do, it's just a matter of how far do we want to go, just like what JR said on the parking. How far do we want to go? Do we want to tow them or not? So it really comes down to how much are we willing to do, so.
And, Paul, and I brought it up to Paul, to John, when he was at our meeting, you gotta make it look like something. Your sprinkler system isn't working, you've got no, you don't put any trees where they're sitting, where they're lying. There's things that just, you could do to enhance the value, or entice people to come here, but not when it looks like an abandoned lot.
Yeah. And a lot of that was, that was still under warranty, that was still under their pocket, and you can ask, how much do you ask, and nothing gets done. Well, hopefully Mr. Lowry now will see, it's amazing that, that somebody in his organization didn't drive down here and see that, and say something to them, why are we telling them from here, so, but if, we can't, if they don't, if it was their responsibility to have the sprinklers working and they never got them working, well, obviously, how much do we want to spend as a city to get them working, At some point, we're going to have to do that, so.
Mowers, broccoli, mowers, weeds, and different things like that. And I told him himself, so it's secret all too. I think maybe if we don't get grants or something, if we're looking at money from different organizations, maybe what we need to do is hold tight and say, hey, what are you gonna do? And then we're willing to step up, rather than us step up first. If I was a developer, I'd make that, make an eye appeal and work with the
Right.
I
Right.
think it could be a real nice,
Right, yep,
and when I built my home at Riverton, Jay Bettiger was the developer. He stepped up to the plate. He gave me a deal, I said, I'll build, be the first house to build out there. He gave me a deal, and I said, I'll build a nice home out there. And that's all full, it's filled up just like that, But he did something to make it, so it has some eye appeal.
I got a feeling when the specials start coming, people will probably get a little bit more. When they have to start writing that specials check, and they got all them lots, they might be a little bit more eager to do something, so, but it's a conversation piece that we have to have, and where it goes. Like I always tell everybody, if we don't talk about it, nothing's gonna happen, so.
You got the interest rates there, earning right
It'll start this summer, but it won't be finished for another 2 summers. Or it'll be started this summer, but it won't be finished until next summer. Sure.
When you're talking about this audit that, Chuck and I were pushing to get it done a long time ago, is that the one that we're going back, looking at, not doing what I was doing before? Is that the one we're talking about tonight?
The one I was talking about tonight, it's a 3-year audit. It's for years 20, 21, and 22. The other one, 2018 and 2019, was completed, I believe, in 2021, and that was done by the state of North Dakota. This 3-year audit that we're working to finish is being done by Eide Bailey.
And that was not completed, right?
Not quite yet. We're hopeful that it'll be done here fairly soon. They've gotten every request that they've asked for, every piece of paperwork that they've needed so far they've got. So we're hopeful it gets done pretty soon.
So then we should be going
Rick, this is the one that this is the audit that had been talking about earlier, or you were here, and so it is pretty close. This would bring us up to the end of 22, so it'd make us current on all of our audits.
You know, they're already down there paving stuff and marking stuff off, they're getting a good cargo. They're never charging it.
I suppose the state engineers are doing preliminary surveying on it, or whoever is
Was there ever a preliminary map made of that, what the new one is going to be? As far as length going, because if you're gonna raise it, you're gonna have to get more length to it, I think.
I don't think it's gonna be raised at all. It's gonna be straightened out, but I don't think it's gonna be raised up. No, not that I know of. When they talked to me and Jim, there was nothing about raising it, but it will be a straight bridge instead of, right now it's got an angle to it, but it'll be a straight on bridge. That's, yeah.
Anything else for the good of the order? If not, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Moved by Dave, seconded by Jason. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.